As you probably know by now, how people respond to your website largely determines whether or not they take action. If your website isn't driving the response you'd hoped for, you'll want to improve that user experience. But what are users actually doing? What's valuable? What's not so valuable? How do you know where to start? In this section, I'm going to discuss heat maps and how they can drive more business through your website. Let's start out with the obvious question. What is a heat map? A heat map is software that shows you how people are using your website. Sure, you know whether or not they complete forms and add things to their carts, but if you're getting a lot of traffic to your site and not many actions are being taken, you're probably curious about what people are actually doing there in the first place. A heat map shows all of the places customers touched on your website, where they scrolled, which buttons they pressed, and where they spent the most time. Using colors similar to a thermal image, it shows the most popular areas of your site. It also shows which sections were most often skipped and whether or not people even scrolled all the way through. Most businesses get hundreds, if not thousands, of visitors per week. Your goal, obviously, is to capitalize on that traffic. Sure, most people aren't there to buy, but if you want to increase your leads and purchases, you need to optimize your website in a way that resonates with people. Here's why it's important to add a heat map to your website. Websites should always be evolving. Personally, I make changes to websites daily. I do that based on customer actions and business goals. I make those determinations by testing everything. I look at Google Analytics, conversions, etc. But if I'm seeing a lot of traffic and not so many results, my first go-to is the heat map. I've built landing pages where, with one or two subtle changes, moving a button here or there or cutting down on some text, increased leads substantially without any major traffic spike. Maybe my button wasn't getting enough clicks, so I'd change its position or color. I'd want it to stand out more, and even add another button in another spot. Knowing what works best is all part of the testing, but the heat map is what lets you know that it's not getting clicks in the first place. So what if your button is getting clicks but people just aren't filling out the form? Then you know it's not the button, but instead you need to adjust your form a bit. Maybe make it shorter or less invasive. Without a heat map in place, you're never going to know whether or not it's the form or the buttons or just your page in general. If your button is lower on the page or you only have a form at the bottom, then maybe people aren't getting far enough down to take action. Or the text isn't telling a compelling enough story. The heat map will show you where people scrolled to most often and where they spent most of their time. Just as important, you'll also know where people are not spending their time, or where they're stopping that journey. That way, you'll know where your good and your bad information lie on the web page, and you can adjust. If you're using WordPress, there are several starter heat maps that you can use for free, such as Aurora Heat Map or Heat Map for WordPress. These give you a look at both mobile and desktop views. The issue with free heat maps is that they're generally limited to a few select pages and you only get so much data. If you have a small website, that could work out just fine. However, I recommend using Hotjar for business heat maps. You can try it for free on 3 pages and up to 1,000 page views, but it involves some manual data collection, which is tedious. You'll likely want to upgrade to get at least the Plus plan, which is great for most small businesses, or the Business plan, which is better for medium or larger businesses. With those, you get more automation, unlimited heat maps, and far more visitor recordings. And on the Business plan, you can remove Hotjar branding. So let's bring it all together. With so many marketing tools at your disposal, you can gather plenty of data. But in most cases, that's just in numerical form. Heat maps give you true-to-life, accurate insights into the customer's journey throughout your website. And when used with 2 A/B test landing pages on the same product or service, you can compare notes even better to see which page was performing best and why. If you really want to create the ultimate user experience and drive more leads through your website, which I know you do, you'll want to set yourself up with a good heat map. Stay tuned for more marketing tips and make sure you hit like on our video, tap subscribe, and click on the alert button so you know when we release new content. And check out contentmarketingpro.com to learn all about our small business and freelancer marketing course. Thanks for watching.